quick update on what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and try to sand down as many of the parts I need to paint the same color as the car. So I think the only parts that are remaining are like, I think the bumper brackets, the steel wheel wells, the brake booster, and that should be about it. Today I do get the brake lines in from LPG, so I'm gonna go ahead and install those, line them up. I'm gonna end up using this is where the original proportional valve was, instead of putting it right next to the brake booster where almost everyone else has it now. I just found it'll be easier to just purchase the lines the LPGI has, and the lines go to the factory spot. So I'm just gonna go ahead and stick with that. So yeah, go ahead and sand everything down. I'm gonna go ahead and remove the master cylinder from the brake booster. I think that's pretty much it for today. If I have some time later on, I might try to throw in the transmission, and then tomorrow throw in the motor. We're gonna put them in separate now, and that should be it. Let's get to it. All right, speaking of the devil, this literally just got here right now, and it should just be the brake line. All right, these go for the front. This is for, yep, this is for the passenger side front brake caliper. This small one right here is for the front brake caliper, so it just goes right over here. And then these two longer ones, I don't know if you can tell through the packaging, but these two longer ones go from the proportional valve right here up and connect to the master cylinder on the side. Cool. So we'll install these later. So in order to install these, they do, or they don't come with clips, but there's like these little clips that go inside all these little holes along the bottom as well. They're on the old brake lines, but they are kind of rusty. I might just spray them black really quick, and obviously I'm gonna reuse them. Let's see, what else did we get? Oh, I think this is the so every time we work on cars, we don't have any like fender covers. We just use like a towel or something. So I ordered one. It's a lot smaller than I expected, but it'll still work. Cool. Here are the parts I'm gonna wet sand today. And not just these ones, a lot of other ones, but let's take it from there. Alright, that was a lie. Two more things. Steel brake lines for the front, and I think this one is for the rear. Yeah, the rear, two for the front. And then I got these little, I don't even know what they're called, but you connect them to under the hood close to the firewall, and they're basically the windshield, it's where the windshield washer fluid goes through. I know most people don't even use that, but I thought it was I think it's pretty cool to have like all the little accessories that the cars came with, so I plan to keep them all. But instead of using the actual white bottle, factory bottle, I was gonna order one. I think I'm gonna use like a Patron bottle. I've seen some cars at car shows, just checking if I missed anything, because obviously I missed those. Cool, that's it. So I seen I think I was at the Good Guys car show once, or maybe like a street level car show, and I seen like some, I think it was like a lowrider or something like that, but they had a Jameson bottle as their windshield washer fluid. I don't think they actually ever use it or anything. I don't think it was actually hooked up to like a pump, but they had it there full of liquid. I want to use mine whenever I do or need to. So I thought it would be pretty cool that, or if I did put like a Patron bottle instead of like the regular white plastic bottles we have. So that's what I'm gonna do. The only thing I don't like about that is the windshield washer fluid that I'll be using is blue, and then you'll be able to see it through the bottle, rather if you use like a Jameson bottle. The Jameson bottle is like dark green, so you can't see the liquid through it. But I think it'll look different, so let's see how that goes too. I just need to find a spot that I think I know of 2 places I could make a custom bracket so it sits nice and flush and doesn't shake. I just need to find out how much it's going to cost, and then find out how to wrap the individual support brackets that they're going to make, so there's not like a lot of vibration or anything like that. But I'm not going to do that until obviously we get this whole car put together, but it's still on the list of things to do. Oh, and I will be throwing on the oil pan as well. As you know, I took it off because I was going to put the motor and transmission together, and I was just going to throw the transmission or the oil pan on when the motor was inside the car. But as we all know, there's a high chance of it leaking, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to install them both separate. So while I'm doing everything else, I'm just going to go ahead and cover it with some plastic, that way no more dirt gets on the inside. I took apart the brake booster master cylinder. So I went ahead and scuffed it down with this red scuff pad, so that's good to go. I taped up all the spots I didn't want to get painted. I ended up taping this, but I took it off just because I don't want this to stick out like a sore thumb, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint over it. And obviously this part will get covered just because the hose is gonna go on there. And for this, what I did was I went ahead and taped off some parts right here, just because this is where the middle bracket that clamps this down is going to scrape up against, and I felt like, or I know if I do paint it, that's going to, the chrome little bars right there are going to go ahead and scrape off the paint, and it's just going to look ugly. So I scuffed it down so it's literally going to look like this right under there the whole time. I'm not going to paint it or anything like that because it's just going to scrape off every time I take it off. Granted, I shouldn't be taking this off for any reason other than adding or changing the brake fluid, which is going to be once in a blue moon. But still, for that one time I do take it off and it does scrape off, I know me, I'm gonna get mad, so might as well just leave it like that. Next thing I'm gonna do is the steering wheel and the hub, so let me go grab those. Alright, so finish this up, or obviously that's done, but I finished up the steering wheel. Doesn't really look like the scuff pad did much, probably on video, but in person you can see it did make it a lot more dull, so better for the paint to stick. I think next thing I'm gonna do right now is try to install some of the brake lines. What I might do right before that though is go pull off the clips that attach these lines to the actual frame off the original lines that I have in the back. Also, like I said, they're probably all, or they are brown and all rusty, so I might paint them black really quick before we do all that. And then while those are drying, before I can obviously install those, put the oil pan back on. Let's do it. Got the transmission in. Was a bit of a struggle to get it in there because on the transmission mount there's a little piece that sticks down. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see it. It's somewhere back there. A little piece that sticks down that's supposed to, I'm assuming, go through that. Or actually, you can't see it. So that little piece right there was actually hitting the cross member right here, and it was a struggle just to get that in. We had to bend it up just so to sit on top, and then we were able to get the bolts in and have this line up. Did have to obviously jack up the rear end. I don't know if you guys see the jack, just so we could twist this. Yeah, and everything worked out good. So now, got the motor all ready to go in. But before we do that, I'm gonna install the transmission cooler lines. I got these stainless steel, and then the brake lines stainless steel as well. I want to install those just because I don't want to have to go into the car and struggle to route them in. So yeah, let's get to that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and then we'll continue with dropping in the motor. All right, got the fuel pump on, got the fuel pump on, starter on. You guys remember that I did buy these bolts from, I think, Lowe's and Home Depot. But when we put the connected to transmission, the flex plate started bowing a little bit, and I think it's because with that space here and the size of that, the head right there for the bolt, it's too thick. So I ordered these off Summit. They're a little bit thinner, or a lot thinner actually, so hopefully that doesn't happen again. And then the bolts for the actual torque converter to the flex plate. So I'm about to start bring that over here, put it in. I did mock up all the lines and everything fits right. I'm not sure. I was reading the reviews and they said for like people who had the same car or similar car, like they all had to get adapters. I did not. So I'm not sure what exactly they were talking about. But yeah, obviously mocked it up because I'm gonna paint the new one I bought. Got all that right there. I have the same calipers and rotors. Eventually I want to go with drilled and slotted and Willwood 6-piston calipers. Obviously don't have that on right now, and I'm not worried about painting this like I did with the frame and whatnot, just because I do have rallies, and you're not going to see shit anyway, so didn't bother wasting time on that. But yeah, steel lines, for braided stainless steel lines, all that's done. Yeah, now it's time to drop the motor in. I got my ARP motor mount bolts right here ready to go. Just need to take this off, replace these bolts really quick, and then we should be good to go. Alright, got the oil pan back on. Whoever designed this oil pan, let me show you why, is a piece of shit. You can't fit anything right there on the side to get it off. So if this was on the car, I'd have to remove the disconnect it from the transmission and take it out in order to get this bolt off, because at this angle you can't do anything. I had to come in through right here. So yeah, and there's no space for a washer or anything like that. This is how the bolts, this is what the bolts looks like when they ship it to you. So I had to buy a separate bolt just to fit right there, because literally nothing fits right there. It's right up against it. You can see it when the bolt turns, it scrapes up against it. So that's shit. But I just changed all the bolts right now because I just had some random bolts that I bought from I think Lowe's and Home Depot. But I got ARP bolts, and then I'll be putting on all the accessories once it's in the car. And stuff like that, that's really all you need to make or break a build. And then just like how the bolts, I don't know if I can get in there. See how this one right here, you can't even see it sticking out the other side, but all these bolts, I had Brian shorten down because they're too long. They're actually hitting the block. So yeah, small things like that can make or break something. Alright guys, after about 3 hours of struggling to get this bitch in, we finally did. First and foremost, that oil pan, fuck it. These motor mounts, fuck them too. It was really a fucking pain in the ass to fucking get in. This mount did not line up right, and we had to force this bolt in. We're struggling trying to figure out how. We kind of drilled it a little bit wider, and then there was a gap between this and the bottom one, about like a ½ an inch, and about, like I said, it took us about 3 hours to get this in. Same thing with the transmission. It was just it was a fucking pain in my ass, but we got it in. Hopefully that oil pan's not leaking or anything like that, because to get this out is gonna be, I'd rather just take it to the shop at this point, because that's how fucking stressful it is. Now what I need to do, now that I'm looking at it, is I need to bolt up the torque converter and the flex plate. I need to tighten down the bolts for the transmission, because we kept it loose, so we had like a little bit of wiggle room. I already tightened down everything else. But yeah, this is pretty much it. It's probably all I'm gonna do for the day. I do have to go somewhere. But yeah, scratched more of the fucking firewall right here. A little bit struggling. Earlier, this thing was just grinding up against it, or sanding away. But yeah, now it's done. Good to go. Let's tighten up those bolts really quick, and we're pretty much all set to go. All right, wrapping it up for the day. I did put the wheels back on. When they were off, the car was a little bit more forward, and I was able to close the garage door perfect. Once I jacked up the front to get under there and work on, or just fucking around with the transmission, the car slid forward a little bit, and I noticed that, so I had to put the wheels back on so I could push it back, so it's all set in stone. Yeah, I was trying to push it back and it was stuck for a second, and I thought it was because it was in gear, which it was now because the transmission's in. But I go and try to drop it into neutral, and it didn't move because nothing's connected. Keep in mind, you gotta connect all your shit. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. The next thing I'm gonna do, or next time I work on the car, install the radiator support for them. From there, it's all uphill or downhill, I should say. It's all gonna be fast paced, because I'm just gonna start completing the motor and everything like that. The only thing I really need right now is the wheel wells painted, so I could go ahead and install the fenders and all the other shit.